Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a package to unbox for you. So I've had this for a week or so, maybe more, and it's just been crazy here. So anyway, I have this box to open. It's a package actually from Ketuo/Reich. I'm gonna unbox it with my Knife Standards RR Station Express. And I'm calling this guy the Polar Express because it has polar fat carbon. I think they call it Polar Storm or something like that. I believe it is a new kind of fat carbon. Very cool. So shout out to ATR over at Knife Standards. This is an amazing knife. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite knives this year. And I bought this on a pre-order to support Knife Standards. And I've been carrying it all week since it came. And yeah, I ordered a milled clip for it, and he's sending me the clip, and I'm gonna do a disassembly video. You can hear that click. That's a little bit of stick, but it's not the knife, it's just the oil. There's so much grease or whatever in here from Best Tech. He said he's been like degreasing them, which is crazy, but I'll get that cleaned up when I do the disassembly. Anyway, this is from Ketuo/Reich, and I think we have one of each, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, we have two Ketuo knives. So let's check these bad boys out. As I understand it, they launched or released a bunch of stuff at Blade West, and I wasn't able to go to Blade West this year because we had our son the week, was it the same week or a week after? I can't remember. And yeah, but I hit them up and was like, dude, you got some cool shit coming out. Love to check some of it out. And they sent these my way. And I'll get these into the pass around group actually, but let us check them out. We have the Yakuza, which sounds pretty cool. This one's got Damascus, okay. Damascus copper carbon fiber and titanium with M390, got it. And this is a Felix Danishwara design. Really like Felix. We have a KT Meridian /P, and that one's in titanium and M390. This is a Mitchell Picard design. So let's check that one out. Is it Pickard or Picard? I'd go with Picard. You're gonna get your cloth, and you're gonna get your John Piece John here. Little card, little spec sheet, pause and read if you like. Maybe we can reference that. Then I won't have to do the terrible job measuring stuff that I usually do. So this is one I've seen pictures of on their Instagram. I thought it looked pretty cool. I didn't choose the ones they sent me. They just said, you know, we have this one and this one you could check out. And I was like, okay. I know they also launched an aluminum version of, damn, what's the name of that knife? It's the, I feel silly. It's the, a brain isn't working, guys. Who's the guy who designed the Leak? I keep wanting to say Keith Richards. I know that's wrong. Ken Onion. I believe it's a Ken Onion design. I think it's called the something buck, the buckshot, the, oh man, it's so hard to remember everything. But yeah, that knife, and there's a aluminum version of it, which is pretty damn cool. Buckhorn, maybe? And then, they have a mini, Triad, mini Griffin coming out, and that looks amazing. I can't wait to check that out, because with that liner lock, the button actuated liner lock, it looks sick. Anyway, this is the Meridian from Mitchell Picard, and M390, they're calling this a pearlescent finish on the blade. Pearlescent finish. Okay, so it's not just a bead blast, I guess is what they're saying. And I've seen this before. It's sort of a frost finish. I think they do a polish and then blast it. So it's going to withstand corrosion better because of that, because the polish, obviously, you're removing the pores where the moisture can get in, and then blasting it where usually a bead blasted M390 is not a good idea. It should be fine here because of the polishing. Really cool pivot on this. Look at that. We have a 3.54 inch blade length, so pretty much the average size knife. 5.04 on the handle length. And let's see, ceramic ball bearings, frame lock design. I love that. It looks like an internally mounted insert. Yeah, there's no way they would do a titanium lock bar there. So you have a steel insert, which is mounted internally. You can't even see the screw. That's pretty cool. It's still nice and thin. I like that. Internal relief cut, something I've been talking about a little bit. Actually, it is a dual relief cut. I mean, what would you call that? You can obviously see some relief on this side and then a little bit more on that side. So it's kind of a dual channel relief cut, we'll call it. I'm just making shit up here. 4.37 ounces, an amazing detent, and really good action. Obviously, it's Ketuo. They do a wonderful job with that stuff. Let me get a little bit of alcohol here, and we'll just wipe this sucker down some because there's oil on it, which I'm getting transferred to my hand. Mainly on that flipper tab. So let me clean that up a little bit. Okay. So let's feel that flipper tab again. It's got one of those sort of downward angled flipper tabs, nicely jimped. So these type of flipper tabs are really good for a push button design. So it deploys really well with the push button, but the light switch works excellently as well. It's a very satisfying flipper. I really like that, actually. That is sick, dude. Very cool design, very fluid design. Not something that normally piques my interest. You know, on paper, I wouldn't look at this and be like, ooh, you know. But in person, this is a real nice knife. Really comfortable in the hand. Very, you know, sort of simple handle design. Normally, I'm not a big fan of, if you've been watching the channel long enough, you've probably heard this before. I'm not a big fan of knives that get thinner as they go back. Think Microtech SOCOM Elite. Because to me, it feels a little bit odd to have it thin out going back, because it's so much easier to have it pulled out of your hand, or, you know, for whatever reason. I don't know why that's important to me, but there's just something about it, maybe aesthetically too, that I don't love. But this thing, man, that is so smooth. It just swings. And then, man, that's sick. No play, no rock of any kind. And it's literally butter. I mean, I have to stop it so that it doesn't cut my nail. You know, I could let this sucker swing all the way down, but you can just come up here, let that flipper hit you. That detent clears nice and early, something I talk about a lot. You can see where it sits on the detent right there. That is beautiful. So as long as you clear that, the blade will swing down, which is important on a flipper knife because you want to be able to close it easily. And left-handed, it's important because if you get stuck on that detent, you get that move where it kind of kicks back. But look how, I mean, even that cleared it. So it's very easy left-handed to just clear that and shake it down. Man, if you are somebody who really enjoys a flipper knife or just wants something with an exquisite execution and design, the Meridian is your guy. This is really slick. I'm a big fan of this knife. Man, looks like they have, do they have an over travel built in? They didn't use the collar for that. Usually that's what happens. Yep. Oh, wait. Let's see. Most people don't care about an over travel stop, but yeah, you can see that little tab up inside of there, and that's going to hit the collar. So they are using the collar sort of as a buffer there. That flipper tab is so fun to deploy. Alexa, cancel. My reminder to go pick up my daughter, but my wife does that now. We switched up schedules because of the baby. We have a little ceramic ball clip, which is really cool. I'll have to test that out, obviously. But really sweet. All right. So let's check out the next guy here. Sick. The Meridian. Really a fan of that one. Great job, Mitchell. And this one's from our boy, Felix. Felix Fix-It Jr. Just kidding. This looks dope. So if I'm not mistaken, I think Felix designed the Griffin. Might have been the Triad. I always mix them up. I know which one's which, but design-wise, I'm not positive. But this one, I guess it would be the Triad, right? Because you'd have Yakuza Triad, right? Makes sense. So yeah, you have that copper shred carbon fiber there, and you have a reversible pocket clip with a filler tab. So that's really nice. Dead centered. And nice back spacer. It's got like a groove in it, which is interesting that the groove is on this side. Usually the groove is on the inside, you know, kind of shows you the centering. My phone's blowing up over here. Sorry. Put that over here. So you have sort of a thumb disc built in. That's really interesting. That's wild. But then you have a front flipper and a hole. I mean, that is a unique design. Now, this is a bit of a beefy boy. Look at that, dude. That felt like a... It's going to sound dumb, but it felt like a pistol coming out of there. I don't know if it's the handle shape. This is freaking cool, man. Felix. This is what I'm talking about, dude. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Triad. I thought it was a, cool, unique design. But this one is fantastic. You gotta love the way they did this lock bar. Let me clean this up. There's just some gunk on here. I think it's giving us some lock stick. Woo-hoo-hoo! Did you hear that? Is this hollow ground or is it flat, man? That would be a really nice job if they did a hollow back there. There we go. That did clean it up a little bit. No stick now. So I'm guessing it's just oil, and that should go away. Whether it comes back or not, I can always take it apart and get rid of that. I will say I do not love the T6s here. I noticed them on here too. Really would be nice if they switch those over to T8s. Should have T8s all around. I also just noticed on this one, there's no pivot. There's no pivot screw. There's no tooling for it. So disassembly would be interesting. I'm guessing you just unscrew one of these, or... We'll mess with that in a second. Let's first check this out. This one obviously has a T8 slot right there. Pardon my Band-Aid. Dude, this thing's sick. So you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the Tall Boy. Reminds me of our Divo design, the Tall Boy, because we have a very similar setup on the lock bar. Do I have a Tall Boy here? I do. It's in a case over here. Hang on one second. I think it's this one. Ow. Yeah. So here's one of my personal ones. And you can see it's a similar kind of design where the way we did it is it's a liner lock. And then we made the liner thicker at the top. And that's how we were able to make it what we call an exposed liner lock. I'll have to check the website and see what they call it, but it's essentially the same concept, except theirs is more of a frame lock. So theirs I would basically call a bolster lock, I think. I don't know. Maybe it is the same thing. But it seems more frame locky to me. You do have an insert mounted to it, but I think it is just a thicker piece of titanium here. Ours is steel. So this piece is not mounted to the titanium liner. It is a thicker piece of that liner. So they take a thick piece and mill it down, right? Same concept here. Very cool. I didn't put that together before. Man, this thing is wild, dude. I love the handle design. Usually I'm not a big fan of more curved designs, like pistol grip designs, but this one just feels good in my hand. This is an excellent design. Dude, Felix, killed it, my brother. That does feel like a hollow grind to me. And then flat up here, beautiful compound ground blade. Let's try out this thumb disc thing. Okay, it kind of works. I mean, I wouldn't reverse flick it. Oh, you could. Actually, reverse flick's pretty good. Try it with my normal hand. That is weird. Not for me, but I think it looks good. I would obviously reverse flick it like that. Awkwardly. What did I do there? Oh, there we go. Okay. And then thumb flick. Man, I don't know if I would thumb flick it, but I guess I would go right here. And then give it the flick. It's a little awkward, but... And then obviously you have the front flip, which is excellent. Can you reach around it? It's a little difficult with this Band-Aid, but... Reach around's tough because you have like kind of a smooth area up here. I wish they would have jimped it up and over and put a couple of jimps up here. And then you'd really be able to get a hold of that sucker. But either way, it is cool. Little bit of movement here, but I wouldn't call that lash. I would just call that movement in the detent, if that makes sense. It's got a nice... Let me see what I'm looking at here. Oh, I thought that was a detent ball. What is that? Trying to find the detent ball. There it is. Yeah, it felt like a nice big. The detent ball is pushed out quite a bit. See that? Which is great. That means you're gonna get good retention. You're gonna get a good pop on your detent. Man, I love that reverse flick. Good closing action. Good front flipper action. I'm getting used to it left-handed. Right-handed, I can really blast it. Let me try a right-handed thumb flick. Would I prefer the hole? And that's easier to me, I think, than trying to... Am I on the lock bar? I don't know. It's interesting. But the fact that you can do whatever is cool. Now, I see a screw there. So can you remove this weird thumb disc thing? Let's try it. Let me grab a T6. Probably need a little more leverage than this, but we'll see. Oh, didn't think of that. Took the blade right up with it. Idiot. I just want to see, what does it look like without it? Okay. So that came off. Does the other side come off? I think it does. Hold on. There you go. So you can take that off. Clean it up a little bit. So yeah, it's got a little notch there. I mean, it's not terrible. So if you hate it, you could, use that as a lanyard hole. I'm just kidding. But you have the option to remove. It doesn't look that weird, honestly. Like if you do that on this knife, it looks a little bit more obvious because you can see, let's see if you can tell, but the way the studs mount on this knife is in a notch at the back of the hole. So there's a little channel behind the hole, the slot, and that's what it goes into. So if you remove these, you'll have a little kind of notch back there, which is obvious, but I mean, it still looks okay. But this is less noticeable. But I will say, they don't bother me. I like them. So there's really no reason to remove them. I just wanted to point out that you could. In theory, I mean, not in theory, in real life, you can. Let me figure this out. Am I doing this wrong? Is it this one? What? No way. Wait, do I have it upside down? Whoops. Yeah, I think I had it upside down. I think it goes in like that. There we go. Okay. You all right, buddy? My wife brought my son in. He's sleeping. That's what he does, in case you're wondering. He sleeps a lot. So this is the show side. Yeah, so this is the side I would want the clean side. Very easy process, I will say. Probably better to do it like this and not do it when it's closed. All right. Anything else I want to cover on this? I love that it has a reversible clip. I think that's cool. I do think that, so here's what I'll say. I love that it's reversible, and I think that Felix finds that important. But looking at how cool and unique the design is, I wish they would have found a more clever way of doing the filler tab, whether it was mounting it internally so you didn't have the screws, or having it pass through, you know, having the clip screws somehow mount the filler tab, something like that, so that it looked a little cleaner, because it's a little odd. Although it also kind of lends to the design, because you have all these sort of titanium bolstery kind of pieces, like the lock bar, and then, you know, so you kind of have these cool touches of bead blasted tie, so it kind of does work. So I don't know. I'm glad it's there. I wouldn't remove it. I just think they could have, for a premium knife, I think they could have made it a little bit cooler looking on the filler tab, but that's just me. That's kind of my only negative on this knife. I really love this thing. So let's look at some specs real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. Don't know if I'm going to do another video on these. I'm very tight on time when it comes to finding time to record, and I have really gone ham on these. I mean, we're talking 25 minutes already. Take a look at this. Let's look inside of here. Look at that. There's almost like a spring inside the back spacer. Is there something going on here? Can you see that? Let me try to zoom in. I think we have 5 times zoom on this, so we can still get like 4K or whatever. So you see that? That's the screw. Okay, that's a screw, right? Is that what that is? But there's no... So it must be some subframe screws under there or something. I don't know. I mean, look in there. What does that look like? Looks like threads to me. Interesting. Very cool. So we have the Yakuza, And it's Felix's design, M390, pearlescent finish again. Damascus carbon fiber and copper, 3.31 inch blade size. So you're talking basically the same size as, should be the same as like a stout V2. Maybe this is a little bit more of a straighter design, but yeah, very similar in size, just a little bit different. The handle does seem to be a little bit longer, 4.37 on the handle. So yeah, you have a bit of a longer handle, but the blade is about the same. You can see it closed here. Very close. It's really just this end part that makes it a little longer. Definitely a chunkier boy. It's going to be a thicker knife. They don't have thickness on here, so I will do that for you. 0.553, yeah, it's a thicker knife. It's definitely a more of a chunker knife. It kind of reminds me, I did a video recently on some concepts, the Baba Yaga sparrow design. It kind of reminds me of that. Like those of you that like that hand-filling feeling with an EDC knife, this is going to be that. If you like Chavez knives, but you wanted something just a little bit more, you know, fleshed out, I think this is like a Chavez on steroids. This is a beautiful design. This is an iconic design, in my opinion. Felix, you really killed this, man. Huge, massive props to you for coming up with this really, really, really sweet and unique design. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this knife. Wow, incredible design. So that is the Yakuza. That is definitely in my knife of the year list. And it's not necessarily my style with the tanto and everything and the more curved handle, but sometimes you just have to give props for an amazing design. And that's what this is. So that's the Yakuza. And then we have the Meridian, which is also really, really nice. It was the buckhorn, the other one I was thinking of, the Ken Onion, I believe, and also a fantastic design. Ketuo is just really knocking it out of the park this year. Yeah, so trying to figure out this pivot collar situation, how you're supposed to take this knife apart, because you literally don't have a pivot screw. So I'm wondering, do they have some kind of tool in here? No, there's no tool in here that I can see. Make sure it was the right box, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well, let me put this back. Let's just pull up the website real quick, see if there's anything we can learn that I've missed. Ketuo USA. There we go. Ketuo knife. Let's see what these cost as well. So the Triad, that's the one I believe was designed by Felix before. So that says FD design. That would be Felix Daneshwara. So I got the Griffin at the same time. So that's why I'm like, I wasn't positive on it. But I believe this one is designed by Jin. So yeah, I did get that right, which is good. I like getting things right. The Mecha X was one I had recently. Really, really sick. The Buckhorn, that was actually a carbon design, not a Ketuo. Let me see. Are these listed? Yes. The Meridian is $255. It does come in a... Whoa, is that crystallized tie? That's pretty sick. Meridian knife seamlessly blends. Designed by Mitchell Picard. stands out with its intricately milled pivot collar in gold and custom pivot hardware. Custom pivot hardware, offering both the striking visual appeal and top-tier functionality. So I'll have to ask them if they normally come with it. The Meridian stands out with its intricately gold custom hardware, but if you want to take it apart, how do you do that? I don't know how that would work. And then you have the Yakuza. Guys, for $2.95, this knife is insanely well done. And there you have a black bladed version. And, oh, damn, I wish I'd gotten the belt satin. Look at that, dude. That's the creme de la creme right there. But this is sick, too. I actually really like this pearlescent finish. So, not complaining, but damn, that is sexy for sure. $320 for that one. $2.95. That one's sold out. And then this one's $2.95 as well, guys. I would grab this one if you can. This is a really sweet knife. They have some fire, don't they? That one, I think, is the Doom's knife. Not for me, but definitely interesting. So there you go, guys. I will link it down below. I do have a affiliate link for Ketuo and Reich, and I would appreciate it if you use my link. It does help the channel, so obviously it's up to you, though. But some bangers here. Really excited. Really like the Meridian. I'll have to figure out what's up with these the pivot hardware, pivot collar, but I can't figure a way to get in there without needing a spanner bit. Maybe you could just use a spanner bit or something else to get in there. But you would think they would provide a tool or something. So maybe that comes with some of them. I don't know. Could it be? No, there's no way it's like built into the knife. Sometimes they do wild shit at Ketuo. But I don't see a way that I could like pop out a tool or something. Yeah, no. So if I learn anything, I will let you know, of course. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you to Ketuo. Really appreciate you sending these out. Amazing as usual. You guys are unbelievable. I will get these into my pass around group so other guys can check them out as well. And hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Let me know which one of these you would pick. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Hey, guys, I figured it out. I'm an idiot. I asked Ketuo, I was like, is there a tool for this or what? And they were like, it's a regular tool. And I'm like, what? It's just a flathead. Look. As soon as they said that, I looked at it and I went, oh. So you could just take... Sorry, I'm using one hand right now. You could just take a flathead and slot it right in here. This flathead is not the right size, but you get the point. I think you can just put a flathead right there and boom, you're good to go. So that's how you would take this apart.